Ugonjwa wa osteogenesis ama brittle bone ni moja kati ya magonjwa yanayoathiri mifupa. Ugonjwa huu ukisababisha mwathiriwa kuvunjika mifupa yake kwa urahisi.
It's a disease where a child is born with very soft bones and they very easily fracture. Some of the children actually fracture either at the time of birth or even while still within the womb. And throughout their life, they can get as many as 10 to even 20 fractures.
Ugonjwa huu unasababishwa na kasoro kwenye jeni inayohusika kutengeneza protini aina ya collagen ambayo ndiyo huunda na kuimarisha mifupa.
Brittle bone disease is a genetic disease. Many times we don't even see it transmitted from a parent to the child. Occasionally it may be transmitted from a parent to the child, but most times it's an abnormality of the genetics as a child is being formed that they end up with the bone not forming well. And therefore now they end up having the recurrent fractures.
Kuna aina 4 kuu za ugonjwa huu. Dalili zikitegemea aina ya ugonjwa wenyewe. Kando na mifupa kuvunjika kwa urahisi, mwathiriwa pia anaweza kuwa na udhaifu wa mifupa, ulemavu wa meno, rangi ya macho kuwa samawati na ulegevu wa jumla wa mishipa.
So there are several types of brittle bone disease, and based on how they present, that's how we are able to identify them. So many of them, the simple diagnosis is they break their bones too easily. So a fall that for any other child they would have just stood up and wiped off the dust, for that child they break. Some of them will develop abnormal caries in the teeth. Some of them will have blue looking eyes, so the white part of the eye is bluish. So when we combine these features, we look at the breaking, we look at the development of the teeth, we look at the color of the teeth, sometimes we look at even that's the shape of the head. When you combine all this, we're able to make the diagnosis of osteogenesis imperfecta.
Kutegemea na aina ya ugonjwa, mgonjwa anaweza kuishi maisha ya kawaida, lakini mwathiriwa wa aina ambayo inasababisha mifupa kuvunjika mara kwa mara, yupo kwenye hatari ya kudhoofika na kupoteza uwezo wa kutembea na hata kupoteza maisha yake.
The common types we usually say are just 4 of them. The second and the third type tend to have very early presentations. Those are the ones who present very early in childhood, some at the time of birth or just after being born. The first and the fourth type tend to present later. You may find that maybe a child will have 1 or 2 breaks in a year. Some of them, the break in the bone is so rare, they actually appear as normal children. And we may not even notice that this is osteogenesis imperfecta because maybe during primary school they broke a bone once or twice. Unfortunately, the frequent breaks tend to cause their bones to become misshapen. So you find that they have bows forward or twisted. Now those ones end up with a lot of problems walking. And for that reason, many of them will end up on a wheelchair by the time they're getting to about 12 to 14 years, when they tend to gain a lot of weight just at around puberty. Those who have the first type and the fourth type of osteogenesis imperfecta will live a normal life. They'll be like you and me. They will walk, they'll run, some of them may be involved in sports, and they'll have a full lifespan. But unfortunately for the ones in the second and the third type, where they have so many breaks, unfortunately their lifespan may be limited. They may not be able to live a full 70, 90 years.
Japo ugonjwa huu hauna tiba, madaktari wanaweza kutoa matibabu ambayo yanaimarisha mifupa na kuzuia kuvunjika kwa urahisi.
So we don't have a cure for osteogenesis imperfecta, but we have a solution for strengthening the bones. So there are some drugs that will help to strengthen bones, and usually they are given as an injection. There is one type that we used to give here in the clinic, which would be given every 3 months, but currently we have a different type, which is just given once in 6 months. And so a child will come in, have the injection given. It usually takes about 30 minutes to an hour. And so they'll come and spend about 30 minutes to an hour in the clinic once every 6 months. That's really not much of an inconvenience.
Kwa sababu ugonjwa huu ni kasoro ya maumbile, unapatikana sana katika maeneo fulani. Utafiti ukionyesha kwamba humu nchini ugonjwa huu unapatikana sana katika kaunti za Ukambani na maeneo ya Kiambu.
This end is all the way up here.
Faith Ndeto, Undugu Afya.